Alright, sup y'all, we are about to start another Let's Try. This is virtual novel-esque. Hopefully it actually has some decisions unlike some of the other virtual novels I've been trying out. I don't really like virtual novels unless I like choose your own adventure. I love those kinds of stories, but I don't care for just sitting and reading a novel. If I want to do that, I would just read a fucking book, and I don't like books. This is called Once on a Windswept Night. Now, this is free to play. I don't know how much of this I'll play, but we're going to try it out, see if it's good. You blink, your eyelashes fluttering. Was that sexy? Probably not. You don't know where you are, or even who you are. And the room is dark. This is starting out weird. No matter how you strain your eyes, you cannot make out any detail. It's cold and quiet here, save for the panicked sounds of your own breathing. Yeah, there was sounds of breathing, but I waited too long to start recording. Now it's just silent. Hopefully the sound fixes. For all you know, you could be the only person alive in the world. True, could be, probably not logically. The world itself seems to have compressed as of late. It's small, shrunken down, no bigger than the size of a walnut. Okay, this is really fucking weird. You're trapped inside, all on your own. Or are you? I don't know. I don't have a clue what the fuck is going on. The longer you sit there, or stand there, lie there, you cannot tell. The warmer your inert body becomes. How can you not know what you're doing? This is cool though. Your fingers twitch. Ah, yes. You have fingers. You remember now. Good. What else was I gonna fuck your asshole with? For a short while. Though it felt like much, much longer, you had quite forgotten. You have fingers you can use to touch, a nose you can use to smell, and ears you can use to hear. Arms and legs. Good. We got everything. A head. Thank God. It would be really weird if we had like ears and all those other things, but not a head. You are a person after all. Yes, I am. It's fortunate that you remembered. You were beginning to doubt the nature of your own existence, lost amidst the aether of non-being. For all you knew, you could have been a cat, a dog, or an amoeba at the bottom of the ocean. I could have been. You're right. This is interesting narrative. I really like this inner monologue, like we're having some kind of existential crisis and shit. And it's true, I could have been any of those things if he didn't describe it, because it's a story, so I could have been a cat right now. You are not any of those things. You have remembered that you are a living creature. Cats and dogs and amoebas are alive. A human being, to be more precise, and that has given you the right to live. Okay. It is a right afforded only to a precious few. No, it's not. What? There's a lot of living beings. You should cherish the life you have. You understand that now. I still don't really cherish the life I have. I have no fear of death. It's a problem. If only your surroundings would become clearer, then you might be able to plan an escape route. What do we need to escape from? We don't even know what. I could be on the North Pole with Santa Claus right now. That's why it's cold. You know that you can't stay here. It isn't safe. How do I know that? But I didn't know I was a human. Robbed of your sight, your sense of hearing is more accurate than ever before. Yeah, I just heard a heartbeat really fucking loud. The sound of silence weighs heavily upon you. Silence has no sound. Broken only by your own heart beating. Yes, it is. Beating. At least I'm alive. You take comfort in this fact. Yes, I did. That organ pumping away inside your chest is proof that you're alive. I do like the writing so far in this a lot better than some of the other virtual novels type things I've been reading. Hopefully there are some choices and some art. You exist. You do. How else will you test your existence? You open your mouth, forming shapes, and the vowel sounds. I, E, I, O, U. A-E-I-O-U. No sound comes out. Why should it? There is nobody here to talk to in this dark and desolate void. Though it would be nice if there was. Well, you don't need to talk to someone directly for you to have a voice. Ah. All of a sudden, you hear it, off in the distance. Sounds like a fire. Perhaps it isn't so distant. It's a low crackling sound. Fire, perhaps. Kind of creepy. Just above that, a dull tick-tock, tick-tock, a clock. Then, and the chink of china, the flipping of pages. So somebody's reading near us, and there's a fire. The scent of peppermint tea and dust. Gross. I fucking hate tea. Decades upon decades of dust. The cold, empty environment has spawned life, as though from your own desperate desire for company. Does that make you the center of the universe? Hell yeah, I am! I'm the fucking center of this universe, bitches. You are not alone anymore. But you still cannot see a thing. You might as well be blind. Yeah, I am blind. If you can't see anything, you're blind. You do not know if you're relieved or not by these sounds. They are cozy, yes, and should be familiar. But you're not sure where you might have heard them before. Maybe from another life. This is really strange shit. A past life. You swallow, your throat feels dry. Ooh, damn, that fire's getting intense. I think we might be burning to death. But curiosity propels you onwards. You take a slow, unsteady step forward. So I was standing. The floorboards. Is it a wooden floor creak beneath your weight? Excuse me? I don't know what gender I am. Excuse me. Excuse me. This is really cool looking. I like it. An unfamiliar voice falls from your lips. It's a voice you have not heard before. You recognize it only by the virtue of the fact it speaks when you manipulate your mouth, your tongue pushed against your teeth. Your voice echoes throughout the darkened room. Dozens upon dozens of excuse me's repeat, circling around you like dust motes. The flipping of pages pauses. Damn, that fire is intense. Still, the unseen fire continues to crackle. Somebody is looking at you. You can tell they are looking at you despite the thick darkness that envelops you. Now it's getting creepy. You shiver. Strain your eyes. Perhaps you can make out a few details here and there. Is this a scary game? Yeah, that sounds like a rocking chair. The wooden floor, a rocking chair, a figure sitting upon it, a dusty old tome in their lap. A girl? Oh, you ain't scary at all. Like a fairy.
Oh my, it has been such a long while since I've had a visitor.
So if this is like a dating type thing, I'm gonna assume I'm a man, but I could be a girl. She sighs softly. Is that a good thing? It must be lonely sitting in the dark for so long and nothing but books for company. Maybe she likes books, though you shouldn't read books in the dark. How can she even read these books in the gloom? But this reality seems to operate differently from the one you came from. It's probably better not to ask these things. Otherwise the whole world might fall apart.
My name is Licorice. May I inquire as to your title?
I am queen of the entire world. Your title, she wants to know your name. That's an awfully good question, but you do not remember it yourself. Your brain strains as you try to pluck the first word you can think of from the air. This is probably not the most original name, but I'm gonna go Tracy. It can be a girl's name or a boy's name. Also, the fact that it's giving me these things, this is good. This means it might not just be some visual novel. Tracy, is it? Licorice nods her head. You can see it shifting slightly in the gloom. Well, Tracy, do you know where you are? You shake your head. You have no idea. You just happen to wake up here.
That is quite natural. Most of my guests are wanderers, travelers, if you will, who find themselves here for want of anywhere else to go.
That's a pretty shallow, meaningless existence you live, Licorice. And you're named after one of the most disgusting candies ever. I am not overly fond of fancy names, so I suppose you could call this my library. You glance about. So it is a library after all. You did wonder. This library is filled with books from all over the world, including some which have not yet been written, and... what? Some that need a helping hand haven't been written at all? What do you mean, lady? It's difficult to explain, but stories are not born from nothing, you know. Now, seeing that you are here and I am here and there is little else to do, would you care to help me? You don't understand. How could you be of any help to her? There's a story in here that's been in a state of flux for quite some time. Ooh, I wonder if I'm gonna complete the story, like choose your own adventure. That would be really cool. It's about a traveler, much like yourself, who... But Licorice pauses, and I know her name's not Licorice. She frowns. I'm getting ahead of myself, I apologize. In any event, would you like to listen to this story with me? Hell yeah, I would! Especially if I get to play a part in it. You are curious, what kind of story is this? It is very important to me. Why is she suddenly looking so fucking salty? Like, what did I do? I feel it is connected to my identity somehow, yet it rejects me. It shifts like sand when I try to pursue it, and the words do not stay in the correct order. That sucks. Such a thing may not be possible in the world you come from, but this universe can be rather unfair. She doesn't look as angry now, she looks more just sad. When we want things the most, they slip between our fingers. If you were with me, however, perhaps I could finally be able to reach the real ending of this story. Perhaps you could. Aw, she's smiling now. Except, if I'm with you, the ending of the story is probably going to end badly. I'm sorry, lady. What is so important about you? You don't understand. I do not know, but I feel as though we have a connection. You feel it too, don't you? This story's special to me, but I feel as though it may be special to you too. Yeah, because I'm about to write it. You press one hand against your chest. Your heart flutters like the wings of a butterfly. She might be right. In fact, you are sure she is. Why else does your heart pound when she speaks to you? I don't know. Do you got a boner? So, what do you say? There's nothing to say. You find yourself nodding in dumb agreement. This woman, whoever she is, takes your breath away. Perfect. Now why don't you take a seat, my esteemed guest? You discover to your surprise that you are sitting in an armchair. This world is so fucking weird. This is good writing though, I'm digging this so far. When did that happen? This is a very curious library indeed. Let us begin. We shall dive into this story together. We have all the time in the world. Not true, I got some shit to do. Read the story. Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, there was a traveler. Me. Her name's Tracy, or his name, I don't know. Now you are probably thinking that this is not a particularly exciting beginning to this tale, and neither is it all that original. Yeah, you ain't wrong. There are travelers from all walks of life who wander across lands, both near and far, for innumerable reasons, business, pleasure, or just plain necessity. This story, however, is a little different. It is not an epic, sweeping tale of grand adventure. There are no sword fights, no dragons, no princesses. Well, this is sounding like it's gonna suck balls. Sealed away in high towers. It's a lot smaller than that. Humbler. I'm not a very humble person. This sounds kind of boring. It's a simple story about how one such traveler, who should have been unremarkable by all accounts, stumbled upon a secret tucked away in a small dusty corner where few bothered to venture, and managed to change the lives of two young women. Oh, wait, am I one of the young women? Or am I about to get it on with two chicks? Yes, that sounds like an interesting story. Wouldn't you agree, Tracy? No. Well, it seems like they are intentionally keeping this, like, gender neutral, so I can be a girl or a boy. I'm gonna probably play him as a guy just because usually I do. But we'll see. Erg. I can't believe this. A shadowy figure was tramping through the moors, a hood drawn over their face. Rain pelted the figure from all sides, and the wind stirred the edges of their worn traveling cloak. Still, the figure did not slow in their solitary march. They could not. If they did, they might collapse from fatigue, and then they would never be able to get back up again. What? Why? You can collapse in fatigue and still get up? The rain on these desolate moors was unforgiving. Oh, they might drown or freeze? It fell from the gray, overcast sky endlessly, threatening to submerge the landscape with water. Not that the landscape was much to look at, really. That's kind of rude. It's pretty cute, actually. Like, it's really kind of pretty. Look at the stars. Look at these fireflies. There were a few scrubby, weather-blasted bushes and withered old tree that seemed ready to collapse. That was all. And the stars, they're gorgeous. And look at these glowing... Sestot. It was the traveler's first time. Yeah, I just butchered the fuck out of that. First time in Dequise, and they were not particularly impressed. What's Dequise? That accursed goblin. What did he take me for? If I see him again, I'll wring his neck. There's goblins, but no dragons in this story? The traveler cursed under his breath. Their breath. There was no reason for them to do so, so there was nobody within 100 miles who could hear them. But it made them feel a bit better. That's not really cursing, but like, fuck a duck, fucking cunt, bitch ass motherfucking goblin. It gave them a reason to keep going. Revenge! They couldn't let themselves die out here, not until they had tracked down that conniving, backstabbing rogue and... What? Killed him? No, that would never work. Well, I'm not getting any choices. I would totally kill him. The traveler was a merchant, not a mercenary, and they had never killed anybody before, so I'll still do it. They were a vegetarian, for goodness sake. Oh, Lord. You know, being a vegetarian doesn't mean I can't kill. It just means I don't eat what I kill. They would have to do something else then, but what? Maybe this was nothing more than foolishness. Decois was a large country, and the goblin would be long gone by now. They would never see him again. No, I can't back down. I will find him. I will. Got so close, it got so fucking intense. Wait, ears twitched. Their nose was running. Am I an elf? Unless I get to see my face, I'm a male elf. Ew. Gross. Yeah, it is disgusting. Snot is one of the things I can't handle. They sniffled, trying to stem a trail of snot that... Gross! That wasn't very appealing. No, it wasn't. The rain had seeped through their traveling cloak, and the traveler's skin was icy cold. Even their shoes were waterlogged, and they were good shoes, too. They got them Jordans. High-quality dragon hide from the best tailor in Charlotte. Damn, that's the new level Jordans. Not that it mattered now. They were ruined. Take your cloak off. I want to see you. That's Goblin. I have to find him. I'll show him what for. He could have dropped me off outside the village gates, but no. It's only a 5-minute walk, he said. Follow the path, he said. What path? The traveler had been duped, and they knew it. The goblin had not only taken their money, but had refused to deliver them to their destination. You should never trust a goblin with your money. They had been walking for 5 hours and had still not encountered a single dwelling. The rain was getting heavier. The traveler did not fancy their chances. The way that it said fancy their chances, I made him British. I didn't really know he was going to be British. What if they died? But life, as always, has a way of providing when we need it the most. When things look grim and we have lost all hope, there is always a light to guide us. A light that takes us by the metaphorical hand and envelops us in warmth. At least that's how stories work. Except this story. It would be a tragically short tale if the main character died within the first 5 minutes. It would be awesome if that happened. It was when the traveler finally accepted the possibility of their own imminent death with teary eyes and snotty nose that they chanced upon it. Salvation. I don't see Jack Diddley squat. I see those stars. There's a distance. There in the distance, over the top of one of the many hills, was a shape. I don't see a shape. A structure. A building. It was no piece of mere vegetation like the other markers that dotted the environment. This shadow, though faint, had walls and a roof, and there were lights flickering in the window like fireflies. There's fireflies all over the fucking place. I don't see a structure. Ah, the traveler gulped. They had almost succumbed to the cold. Their fiery indignation towards the goblin had faded alongside their last scraps of strength, and they had been on the verge of surrender. After 5 hours in the rain, you have a fucking hood and coat thingy on. You're gonna give up like that? But they could hardly do that now. They had to keep going. I'm just waiting for some options. I felt like I was gonna get some. A fucking nun. The nun. The nun. Emma, are you alright? She's a prettier nun than I'm used to seeing, but still, what am I gonna do? Hit on a nun? I want that nun, pusser. She got them blowjob lips. The sodden traveler was met in an entrance of a church by a young woman wearing the garb of a nun. Just wearing the garb, she's not really a nun. Her habit was navy, her hair was cornflower blonde, and her eyes were blue. These blue eyes were fringed by very long pale eyelashes, and when she blinked, the traveler feared she might lacerate her own irises with them. What? That's some dark ass fucking shit. Damn, such was their length. Shit. In a word, she was pretty. She's a nun. You can't fuck her, okay? I'm sorry. You can try. There's something hot about trying to fuck a nun. Almost inhumanly so. Enough to take the traveler's breath away. I don't really think she's that pretty. She's cross-eyed and she's not really that pretty. I am fine. But the traveler was uneasy on their feet and they faltered. I think, I might need to sit down for a few moments. But of course, please rest for a while. The nun took hold of the traveler's hand. Her skin was soft and warm, and the traveler's face flushed from the close contact. Not that the nun noticed. She's a fucking nun! What the fuck? The traveler's face was, after all, still obscured by a heavy hood. The nun led the traveler to one of the wooden pews, and there the traveler sat. They had not realized how exhausted they were until the pressure had been taken off their feet. Oh dear, you're exhausted. You should stay here for the night. Wink. Can't wink. That's fucking, yeah. Get it on. Let's get on with the nun. Oh no. I couldn't. I don't want to impose. And there's somewhere else I need to be. Oh, don't be silly. It's raining witches and warlocks outside. It's alright. I'm rather durable, except for I almost gave up after 5 fucking hours of walking. The traveler raised one slender arm, the folds of their cloak fluttering, and tried to flex their muscles. The nun did not seem impressed. Nobody's impressed by that. Though she was a soft woman with gentle curves and golden hair, there was a certain hardness about her. My dick. Schoolmistressy, perhaps? That made one point absolutely apparent. If she wanted to care for somebody, she would, no matter how unwilling that somebody was. The traveler was weak against people like this. Women? Sounds like it. That is very impressive, but you're dripping wet. You're dripping wet, lady. Fuck that nun. Grab onto the habit and just fuck her from behind. You will catch your death of a cold. Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Good quote. First by Nietzsche and then by Kelly Clarkson. And whatever does kill you, kills you, bitch. Damn, she's sassy. Oh yes, didn't think of that. Then it's a good thing you're chanced upon this church. We don't get many visitors. The nun's voice trailed off and the traveler felt inclined to ask why that was. Because we murder them. It sounded like the beginning of a story, some narrative thread one would do well to follow, but the nun shook her head and the moment passed.
Are you hungry?
The traveler was hungry, starving in fact, but they had been more pressing concerns to address. I was wondering if you could answer a question.
And what might that be?
How far away is Castella?
Castella, I suppose it's a good 10 miles away. It would take 2 hours to reach on foot.
In this weather, however, it could take as much as 4 or 5.
10 miles? That
goddamn bloody fucking goblin. So much for 5 minutes down the path. That goblin. When I see him, I'll hit him so hard his ancestors will feel it.
Goblin? Are you by chance going to the market in Castella?
That's right. I've wares to sell and I need to sell them. They are stolen wares that are haunted and cursed by whoever the fuck got them, and then if I don't sell them, then I will be cursed. It's imperative I get to the village before the break of dawn so I can set up my stall.
You say that you need to, but that is not possible. The rain is too great in your condition.
Who cares about my condition? If I don't make any sales, I won't have enough money to eat. That's the reality of life, bitch. Especially after the traveler had given that goblin 5 gold coins. Don't give goblins gold. 5 gold coins was not an exceptionally large sum, but it all added up. The nun, however, remained firm like my dick.
If you want to know who cares about your condition, I do. As a servant of Lady Madeline, it would be a grave sin for me to let you leave in this state.
Who the fuck's Lady Madeline? I want to meet her.
It's a suicide march. You will die.
But... You will die.
No buts.
Unless you're talking about my butt. In that case, let me bend over. But I don't even know you. Why do you care so much?
Because it's my calling to care. I don't want to see any more people
Suffer. Not this time. The not this time hung in the air, suspended by its own ellipses. That's clever writing. It was, again, an invitation to ask questions, a loose thread in a story that was only just unraveling. But it had not unraveled enough. Not yet. There were further introductions to be done.
There will be no more arguing. You will stay here tonight whether you want to or not. That's called kidnapping.
What a pain. It was not the traveler had to admit their finest hour.
Now, you must get some food in your belly. When was the last time you ate?
I'm not sure. 6 or 7 hours, maybe.
That'll never do. I will have to tell Daffodil.
Who the fuck's Daffodil?
She is the other sister who attends the church. I will wake her and tell her about you, and we can make you some food.
I'm down with this. Some hot nuns making me food? Oh no, you don't need to wake anybody on my account.
But I must. It's my duty as a sister.
And though the traveler wanted to object, it was their duty as a merchant to sell their wares. They could not. The expression on the nun's face was so determined it would have felt like a great cruelty to rob her of this chance.
I will tell Daffodil. You, meanwhile, will remain here.
I will.
You must.
Alright.
You can look around a bit if you wish, but there isn't anything particularly interesting. You can try to steal our valuables if you have half a mind to pursue a career as a criminal, but you'd be wasting your time. There isn't anything here worth stealing. Damn, she is like so fucking blunt. I can get down with it. I dig it. You make me sound like some sort of rogue. You're wearing a fucking hood. I was not trying to accuse you. I was simply informing you of our financial circumstances. The churches have been in a state of decline as of late.
Is that why there are only 2 sisters working here?
That is a bit complicated.
A troubled expression fell upon the nun's countenance, and the traveler felt guilty for having asked the question at all. It was clear that there was a deeper mystery afoot, but the traveler did not know what.
So,
the nun clapped her hands together. Before I leave, is there anything else you would like to know? Yes, I just realized you haven't told me your name.
My name? Oh, it's the nun.
The nun blinked her spiky lashes. Jesus Christ. Once again, the traveler worried her lashes might pierce those clear blue eyes of hers and they would leak optical fluid down her cheeks. Jesus, this is some morbid ass fucking shit. That was mere fancy, however, and such a gory scene did not truly transpire, thank God, though I kind of want to see it.
It has been such a while since anybody has asked my name, I quite forgot.
Ooh, just like me at the beginning of the story.
I apologize for my rudeness, it was quite the oversight. It's fine, I don't mind.
You are giving me a place to stay.
Yes, well.
The nun smiled a soft, charming smile, accentuated by the light pink tinge of her cheeks and a ducked head.
My name is Madeline.
Like the goddess. Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't that the person you said you're worshipping?
Like the goddess indeed. I fear it is quite a feat to live up to.
Oh, I wouldn't be so sure about that. From what little the traveler knew about Madeline, she seemed like the perfect goddess to them already. Cheesy as fuck.